Salut Denzel, welcome to this midweek's lesson. Well, in the last class, we finalized the lesson on numbers in French from 1 to 20. And of course, you were just amazing. We didn't just learn how to pronounce, we also learned how to spell each number in words. And of course, the activity was completed brilliantly by you, which obviously shows a high level of understanding in regards, of course, to that lesson. So we are obviously going to finalize exercises regarding this lesson, of course, in our upcoming session. That is, we are going to do more worksheets related to identifying and reading numbers in French from 1 to 20. And of course, we shall even do a bonus. We shall, this time around, read from 20 to 30 as well. So we shall equally include counting from 20 to 30 since we already know from 1 to 20. So these are the exercises, of course, which we're going to complete. It's going to be in the case where I'll pronounce numbers, and of course, you'll be in charge of identifying them just as you see here. So for example, let's start with A. I might read the number 9, and you're supposed to tell me 9 is 9. 9 is 9. So that is exactly how the exercise is going to be done. And of course, I'm going to bring in more live worksheets still concerning this lesson. So as you can see, the exercise is going to be a very easy one. All right. After completing the worksheets related to that lesson, we shall now move on, of course, to the new lesson. And we shall be talking, of course, about shapes in French. That will be after we watch the video on the Christmas Carol songs in French, of course, titled Petit Papa Noël. So the next lesson, of course, is going to be very lively and not really that tedious. Obviously, it's Christmas, and we're going to give you some space, at least, to enjoy that. So in the next lesson, after completing a review on exercises related to numbers, we shall obviously move on to the next lesson. We should be talking about shapes in French. We shall learn how to call the most important shapes, at least which are important at this level for you. And you're going to notice that we shall see how to call the circle, which you can see right here. So this is a circle, and in French, how do you call it? You call it cercle. Cercle. Can you repeat? Cercle. Brilliant. And the next shape will be how to call a square. And a square in French is called carré. 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 Brilliant. And then after a square, the next shape is a triangle. And just like in English, it is spelled exactly the same in French, but obviously the pronunciation differs. So how do you spell triangle, and how do you pronounce it? Triangle in French is pronounced triangle. 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 Brilliant. And after triangle, we have the rectangle in French, which is still spelled the same as in English. But how do you pronounce it? It is pronounced rectangle. 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 And then, of course, we finally have the oval shape. Oval shape, of course, in French is pronounced ovale. Ovale. Oval. Brilliant. So now show us that you've learned a lot from this lesson. We want you to pronounce each of the shapes as I will highlight them. So let's start with the first. How do you read this again? Cercle. Very good. How do you read this? Carré. Excellent. How do you read this? Triangle. Wonderful. How do you read this? Rectangle. And finally, oval. Clap for yourself. That was a great job. So, we obviously are done with this lesson on shapes, and we're going to do a lot of it more, of course, with a video which we're going to watch to support this lesson. And we're going to give you a task, of course, as homework. That will be in the next lesson to color this shape. You're going to print out this page and, of course, color these shapes. The first one is asking you to color the circles in red. That's les cercles en rouge. Circles in red. The next says les carrés en bleu. The squares in blue. After that, we have les triangles en jaune, triangles in yellow, and les ovales en vert, oval shapes in green. And finally, you have les rectangles en orange, which means you color the rectangles, of course, in orange. It's good as well that we already had a lesson on colors, and so this shouldn't be a difficult task for you. We're going to look more on this, obviously, in our live lesson come next Sunday. For now, it's time to say Joyeux Noël, that is to say Merry Christmas, and let's catch up for our live lesson next Sunday. Au revoir et à bientôt. Bye bye.